interesting.
Hello everybody, welcome to Cape Rugby TV. We've got an interesting panel with us this evening. They're really bantering on the side. Big thanks to Hisense on board with Cape Rugby TV as our technical partner. Score Energy Drinks, as you know, they're on board with us here at Cape Rugby, and supporters of the Western Province Club Rugby Sevens tournament that comes up a little bit later during the course of the year. No, don't forget, of course, the fact that Dulux Maitland at number 30 Coburg Road is on board with us, and if you need any of your paint supplies or housing or construction venue spec, then you need to get down to Dulux Maitland at number 30 Coburg Road. That's where you need to get down to. Color Tone on board with us, of course, your timber treatment specialist. All right, let's get straight into it. We've got a big show lined up for you tonight, folks. A lot of action, and we'll be able to tell you all about that. Hang on, before I go to the panel, opportunity to win yourself a set of tickets to go to the Lions versus Stormers game. That comes up during the course of the show, so make sure you keep your mobile phones handy. Jerome Parvater. Jerome, welcome to Cape Rugby TV.
Yeah, JP. It's good to see that it's raining, so the rugby will definitely start now with the clubs. Fields are looking good, so I think everybody's happy.
I must say, I'm very happy with the rain. I'm just hoping people know how to look after the grass. I suppose that's up to the city. Jonathan van der Walt, you must be happy with the rain.
Yes, very, very happy and glad to be back on our fields for the week. So looking forward to the league starting on the 2nd of June.
We are now right there. Everybody is so amped. Everyone's talking about the league. Everyone's talking about the fixtures. Well, we're not really getting into the logs just yet because obviously it's just the logs in Super League A. But a lot of friendlies. Now the friendlies seem to have changed their gear a little bit. It's not just for the sake of playing, it's for the sake of game prep. How's the field looking at False Bay?
Yeah, the field's looking good. We've had a nice rating, over 86%. There are a few patches that I can see, but it's been well rested, and with this rain we do have a winter grass there. So it should hold, hopefully, throughout the course of the season.
Folks, we've got some big games lined up for you this evening. Marty's against UCT. They played last week. Jerome Parvater is debating with me at the moment as to whether or not he said that UCT would win or Marty's would win. UWC over the weekend, of course, hosted Vix. Jerome, did you say UCT was going to win or Marty's was going to win?
I see your director is nodding there, so we can play back because I said that they're going to win Marty's.
So we've got a clip. We have a clip that
we have a clip.
We have a clip that says that's got proof that you said.
And the people that watched last week know that I said it.
All right. Well, it was a massive game. UCT has certainly managed to stamp their authority in Super League A. Well, although it's a little bit early in the league season to say that, we will take a look at the log, and we'll also take a look at some of the stats from Super League A, just to give you a feeling of how the stats work. And we'll speak to Jonathan van der Walt about whether or not he actually does look at game stats. But right now, last week, Wednesday, it was Marty's up against UCT. And we'll tell you more about that result in a sec. Let's take a look and see what happened in the first half. well, there we go. UCT Marties in the first half. That was last week, Wednesday's game. Of course, the universities now are finished with the first couple of games before they go into their varsity break. Jerome, let's go to you. Marties, UCT. You did say, according to the clip, that UCT was going to win. Looking at that game, let's just concentrate on the first half there. I'm seeing fast locks and big wings.
Yeah, no, it's a good break there from Brendan Valentine. And I just spoke to Harvey's yesterday. Unfortunately for them, he's signed with Boland now, so he's going to Boland.
Yeah.
I think from next week he'll be there. But yeah, good rugby this first half. Typical varsity rugby, running good angles, good handling. So yeah, at first half was pretty even. And no Tian Swanepoel there, he hardly missed a kick, another good kick. And yeah, that big winger of UCT scored a lot of tries in this few games that he played. I mean, he's tough and he's big. So it's
so that's the result you expected. Well,
yeah,
we'll find out. We don't want to give the game away, and let's take a look and see what happened in the second half. And then we get Jonathan van der Wald's expert opinion. Let's see what happened in the second half. There we go. Just before we go to Jonathan van der Walt, remember, folks, if you want to win yourself a set of tickets to go and watch the Stormers take on the Lions at Newlands this weekend, 33090. We'll also tell you more about the faithful, the Newlands faithful, and how to get your supporters club a membership. Jono, is this the year that Marties gets knocked off the top of the pile?
Oh, I don't think so. I just think the Marties team does look a little bit different from the Varsity Cup campaign win. Wednesday evening games always a little bit different. I do know that Marties did lose a few guys, but let's give credit to UCT as well. They also got a few older guys in their side, and I believe it was their 4th away win in 141 years. So to go to Marties, to play any team at Marties on a Wednesday night and to come away with a 27-25 winner, almost a kick to draw it, again, very, very well done to UCT.
4th away win in what?
In 141 years.
I don't understand. How is that possible?
That's the stats.
4th away win for UCT at Marties.
At Donny Craven, correct.
That can't be right. Well, that certainly is an interesting stat. But Jerome, let's go back to 141 years. I mean, there's a measure. In fact, I didn't even know those clubs were 141 years old. I'm not sure if Marty's was around 141 years ago.
How old is Dr. Kramer?
All right, but when it comes to stats, I'll take your word for it. But there's an interesting story. 141-year-old, more than 141-year-old club. Right, Jerome. But if we just look at some of these players here, I mean, we're seeing some skills here. UCT is clearly a different outfit from what they were last year and the year before. We're seeing some great handling skills there. The winger, especially love that number 14. He's getting some real airtime there, and Marty's just isn't dominating enough.
Yeah, it was pretty even. I mean, both halves. If you look at both teams, scored almost like the same amount of points in the first half and the second half. And yeah, the winger is still UCT winger is still under 21. He's in my squad. Munir Hartzenberg from Marty's, the other wing, he's also still under 21. So there's a few good guys out. Like I say, we're fortunate with club rugby that what we have there, and still young guys playing. There's a few other young guys playing in UCT, and it besides the guys of Falsebay that Jono gave to UCT.
Did you give a few players to a few of your Falsebay boys playing in the varsities now?
A few of them are studying over there. Yes.
They're trying to get an education,
and a few older guys are doing something there.
Because most of the guys at Falsebay are degreed already. They're very qualified at varsity and
correct. Most of them do, but there are a few that fall through the net, so to speak, and we try and pick up some of those guys.
To go get an education.
Something like that.
Yeah. But you always got to put education first when it comes to rugby. We managed to speak to Harvey Sfourie, the man, Marty's coach, as well as UCT captain Wesley Chetty.
Ja, het was tof. UCT het 'n baie goeie span. Hulle het min of meer hulle volle Varsity Cup span plus 'n paar versterkings vir die liga, so ek dink hulle gaan 'n handvol wees. Dit gaan vir enige span moeilik wees om hulle te wen. Veral hulle pak voorspelers is baie goed en hulle verdediging was vanaand ook baie goed geweest. So alle krediet aan hulle. Ek glo dit sou miskien onregverdig gewees het as daai laaste skop oor was. Hulle was oor die 80 minute vir my die beter span op die veld. Nee, ek dink die wat gedink het ons gaan weghardloop het nie gesien wie speel vanaand nie. So UCT het 'n baie goeie Varsity Cup gehad. En soos ek nou gesê het, hulle het basies 2 spelers in hulle agterlyn wat nie Varsity Cup vir hulle gestart het nie. Ons het net 3 spelers van ons span wat in die finaal gespeel het oorgehad. So ek het van die begin af geweet dit gaan 'n bitter tawe game wees en ek dink ek is reg bewys en ongelukkig is ons aan die verkeerde kant van die skoor gewees. Ja, daar's 'n hele paar beseerde manne wat hopelik sal reg wees as ons weer begin met die klub rugby en ons speel nog 1 wedstryd in Junie teen Falsebay en dan USA in Johannesburg. So ons hoop van daai ouens kom reg en ons het baie werk om te doen. So hierdie volgende maand 5-6 weke gaan ons definitief hard werk en kyk waar ons foute is en dit probeer regmaak.
Harvey Sfourie, Marty's coach there, talking to us. Unfortunately, the Marty's captain was not available after the game. We would have loved to speak to him, and the opportunity to be there and promote Marty's was certainly available, but unfortunately not available at the time. Jono, just going to what to Harvey's was saying there, he was saying only 3 guys left from the Varsity Cup.
Yeah, look, I think player attrition is always going to happen, especially after a successful campaign. There's a lot of guys that from provinces, Western Province, Boland, and maybe a few other guys as well. And player attrition, but for a factory like Marty's that keep on producing player after player, I'm sure he has some depth and some quality to work with, and it's just a matter of time before those guys gel, eh?
Yeah, it must be a little bit tough though. I mean, if you lose those players. Right, let's have a catch up now with Wesley Chetty, UCT captain. He'll obviously be very happy after the win where they beat Marty's for, I think, the 5th time only in 140 years.
Fantastic. I think this is what club rugby is about. This Wednesday night, 9 p.m. But not that many people out here tonight, but it was fantastic. What atmosphere in terms of the rugby on the field and the scoreline and the end says it all. Yeah, I think we were hungry. Our message from the beginning of this, when we started this campaign, obviously we started earlier, was that we won 15 from 15, and we went to achieve it today. I think we were, from the get-go, we probably started a bit slower than we'd like to, probably a couple of penalties too many, but we edged our way back and we showed great character, and a lot of young guys showed mature heads tonight. I thought when we had got that penalty at that scrum, I thought it was game over. Then we proceeded to give them a try in the last minute. And yeah, I think I didn't even look who was celebrating. I just had my eyes closed, and when I saw one of my players hug me, I knew we'd won. So it was fantastic. I think the boys were chased, that whole team chased that kick down and try and put him off. So yeah, shows the hunger. The new format, I think it suits us. You know, it gives us a bit of time. We can rest players midweek. I think 3 big wins now puts us makes teams have to catch us now. And when we come back, you know, there's lots of games we feel we can get in the top 4 for the knockout rounds at the end. And yeah, but we want to end top. Obviously, that's our goal now after going 3 from 3. But looking forward to it. You know, they're looking forward to the False Bays, the Villages. That's proper club rugby on a Saturday afternoon, and it's going to be great.
Ja, sure. Ek dink is wat ons verwag het. Er was regtig nie baie te kies tussen die 2 spanne nie. Ek kan sien die scorebord het maar heeltyd wipplank gery. En gelukkig aan die einde van die dag het ons kon ons deurvat met 2 punte. Kyk, ons het 'n short turnaround gehad van Saterdag af. So ons het regtig net ons gelukkig ken ons formaties baie goed. Die 2 spanne, ons speel mekaar in Varsity Cup en in friendlies en so ons weet wat om van mekaar te verwag. So ja, ons het ons huiswerk gedoen. Ons het nie baie verander van wat ons Saterdag teen Wiks gedoen het nie. Ek het vir my gesê die span met die beste pak gaan wen vandag. Dis waar ons kan kompeteer met hulle. Hulle het bietjie meer spoed en goeters aan die buitekante. So ek dink ons pak die scrum, jy kon sien ons het gedomeineer, ons het baie lynstaande gevat. So ek dink dit was die verskille, was 2 puntjies, maar ek dink dit was maar die verskil aan die einde. Ja, ons het Yusa, so ek vat nie 'n volsterkte span soos nie, maar ons het dit wat ons aan die gang hou. Maar die challenge is nou om weer terug te kom en dit lyk vir my as die fixtures reg is, het ons vir Valsbaai die eerste week na hierdie breek. So ons sal moet slim wees.
UCD captain Wesley Chetty talking to us there. Well, I think it's about the 3rd time that he's been on air with us, as well as Christian Esterhuizen, about the 3rd time speaking so far this year. Jerome, what will the boys be doing now? I mean, they go on a university break. It's going to be a few weeks before they're back on the park. I suppose they're giving the players off-season programs, or?
Yeah, I know Marties and UCT, they still continue with their trainings, and I mean the guys are writing exams now, so they manage the guys now.
Oh, so they're not actually going away. It's just exam time.
No, it's just exam time. So but they still do their training sessions.
Right. We'll take an ad break, folks. So remember 33090 if you want to win yourself a set of double tickets to go and watch the Stormers take on the Lions at Newlands. It's going to be a massive game. And yeah, 33090. That's the short code that you need to text. Just text the word DHL Stormers to 33090. Put yourself in the mix to win a set of double tickets to go watch the Stormers at Newlands this weekend. Back after the break. Right, welcome back, everybody. As you know, then we went out to and watch Marties against UCT last week, Wednesday, and of course on Saturday was UWC up against Vics. We'll take a look at those games in a second. Let's quickly look at some of the stats in the university's log at the moment, or at least in Super League A. Of course, it's early to tell now, but as you can see there, UCT now firmly at top of the log. They've got 15 points, first place, and then Stellenbosch sitting at 12 points, second on the log, followed by Vics. The rest of the spots are a little bit empty there, and UWC, of course, right at the bottom. If we just look at some of the average points per game there at the moment, UCT scoring an average points of 35 points, Stellenbosch 38 points average per game, and Vics on a 35. So, of course, there you can see Stellenbosch sitting with 67.1% success rate, and Vics 33%. Are we seeing, Jerome, average points per game increase? It looks to me like the guys are scoring higher points nowadays.
Yeah, and they're scoring lots of points, but in saying that, the defense is quite organized also. So the guys are running the right angles, and it's not easy. So it's good to see that the guys can still score points, and especially UCT, they scored a lot of tries in this few games.
Donna?
Yeah, I think it's quite important that if you want to do well in this competition, bearing in mind this year is slightly different. We normally play a single round, so you play 15 teams, play 14 games, and obviously the top guy wins at the end. This year it's slightly different. There's a top 6, so there's a quarter, semis and final, and the winner at the end will actually win the Grand Challenge SRA. But it's still important to get your 5 points every single game, so that is why teams will attack more, as you maybe find them not going for poles or for the line as much. They'd definitely try and get those 4 tries and try and win with a bonus point. So it's going to lead to more attacking rugby, which will lead to a much higher points difference and average per game.
makes it for a much more appealing game.
Of course, especially for the spectators, because they want to come down and see tries and big hits, and that's exactly what's on offer.
Yeah, and I think it's also one of those things that as you mentioned, you don't want to wake up halfway through the season and go, oh, we wish we got that bonus point 5 weeks ago or earlier in the season.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right, folks. As we said, we would be showing you the highlights of the match between UWC and Vix. This was Saturday's game, and when we come back after this, we'll of course be catching up with Tariq Allen. He's UWC's vice captain. Bola Conradi, UWC's assistant coach. We haven't seen Bola for a long time. I'm sure he's still driving around with that car with a registration plate. I'm going to give it away, but if you spot Bola, you'll know. And then Brendan Nell, he's Vix captain, and Louis Blom is Vix coach. Let's take a look now at the first half. UWs against Vix. All right, so it doesn't look like things were going UWC's way there. Certainly a lot of dominance from Vix. Jerome, this is not the same UWC team that we saw against UCT.
Yeah, I think the coaches don't want to see this game again because they've actually played better against UCT and better against Martis. And Saturday was a disaster for UWC, especially the second half. They really did not want to tackle, so it wasn't good.
So maybe this is one of the reasons why Bola Conradi is talking to us. Lionel probably said, "I can't hear."
I think so.
But a lot of running rugby. They're going to your point of what you made earlier on. We're seeing a lot of running rugby. Do you think in this game, just looking at the first half there, that this was just poor defence and the guys were getting through the gaps, or are they deliberately looking for running rugby?
No, look, I think again, you're playing against students, so they're fairly fit. They're training all the time. You know, they've come off. They've probably been training since last year, September, October, getting in preparation for their varsity cup and for the shield. So you've got youngsters that just want to run the ball. So you know, but it's great to attack, but you also still have to defend and make sure that you make your first-time tackles as well.
Well, look, as we said earlier on, it's still early days in the league, and UWC, Vix, Marties, and of course UCT are so far got their practice boots on. A little bit tricky for them, everybody, for both teams. In fact, that have now come out of the at least the varsity sides that have come out of the varsity cup, and of course UWC did particularly well this year, getting promoted into the varsity cup, coming out of the varsity shield. Let's take a look now at the second half. UWs up against Vix. Of course, home ground advantage for UWC. right, final score there, Vic 64, UWC 23. Jerome, how does UWC patch it together now? I mean, you come out of the 2, 3 weeks, 4 weeks worth of rugby, you play game, you know where you need to fix, you keep saying you're going to go back to the drawing board. It's the same for all of the universities. Now all of a sudden you've got the exams, you're not going to be playing, you've got a couple of practice sessions maybe. What does UWC do at a time like this?
Yeah, I know they're also off now because all their guys are pretty much writing exams now, so they're off for 2 weeks and then they will pick up for USA again. I also think it's a good thing for the students because I can see from this last game that they were not in this game. Their mind were totally, I think, on the studies now.
Yeah.
And so they're off now, and then they will pick up for USA. USA is in July.
But it must be quite difficult for any coach to coach a team knowing that your players are going to come and go. Some of them are going to say, listen, coach, I can't come to practice today. I've got to study tonight. I've got a big exam tomorrow.
Yeah, and it's exactly what you say. And there was a couple of guys who didn't even play because some of them were writing on the Friday and they couldn't come to training. And it makes a big difference. But I mean, it's a good opportunity for the other guys also to play. So it's tough. It's tough for them, but they really have to test their depth because it's going to be important next year in the cup for them.
Well, I think they have to test their depth now shortly because they've got some of the serious contenders to come up against in the league. Falls Bay, Durban, Bella, SK, a number of teams going to be very strong this year. Right, folks, we'll take an ad break. We're back in a sec. Let's go catch up now with Tariq Allen. He's the UWC vice captain, and Bola Conradi. We all know Bola, UWC assistant coach.
It's always a hard, InterVarsity is always hard. Vic's definitely wanted it more, and they proved it on the field. They just kept coming, and eventually they started falling through our cracks in defense, and we underperformed a lot today. We didn't pitch up the way we wanted to, but that's rugby, I guess. You learn from your mistakes. Yeah, a bit of indecisiveness at line-out time. It's followed through from last week's game against Martis. We had about 45% success rate on our line-outs, and it just followed through. I don't know, we felt like we were confident going into the game with our line-outs, but it seems like on the day it was just too much pressure for us, and we fell apart, like I said earlier. I mean, Super League A is this is what you expect. Week after week, it's going to be continuously hard match after hard match, and you're not going to have much time to rest, especially our second half is going to be just Saturday, Wednesday matches. So these are the type of things we have to get used to it. We do have a young side. A lot of guys haven't played league before, so it was quite a big step up for them. So we'll just have to learn from these mistakes that we made today and just get stronger. I think we've been given a week off, and then we start with our USA prep. So it's another hard 3 weeks, 4 weeks now coming up. But obviously studies first, so that's obviously going to have to, guys want to play Varsity Shield next year, or Varsity Cup next year, we have to put that time in for the study. So I'm pretty sure our coaches will be a bit lenient with practice times, but I'm pretty sure we'll still keep putting in the work.
Ja, er was staf op kantoor vandag geweest en ek dink as jy nou jou kans op 'n teen by bly by jou wedstrydplan en dan jy wil die tackles maak en dit was staf vandag op kantoor. Ja, het was 'n sukkel dag aan die lyn staan. So skrams was goed. So nou en dan is ons skrams goed, maar skrams was redelik en maar as gesukkel in die lyn staan. Ek dink as 2 groot games wat gespeel het, 3 groot games in 'n week, maar hulle is rugby players en jy weet as jy 'n week is genoeg tyd om jou voor te berei. Ja, jy moet reg wees op as tawe liga in die Westelike provinsie so staf elke week. Ja, sommige hulle eerste keer wat hulle speel in Superliga. So ek dink na die break sal hulle gewoontes aan as hulle derde game in Superliga. So na die break sal hulle gewoontes aan. Nee, ek dink hulle gaan reg as hulle gaan nou op studieverlof en ek dink as hy USA en dan na die break sal hulle perfek is.
Bola Conradi there, and of course Tariq Allen, vice captain at UWC. Jono, Bola Conradi will be bringing a bit of experience to the side there. But Jerome was just telling us at least half the guys have never played in Super League.
Yeah, look, I think, well, firstly, Bola is a legend of Western Province and of South Africa, so there's definitely no short of experience on that side. But myself and Jerome are chatting. Tariq Allen, the captain, he's almost the oldest player, and he's 23 years old. So if their whole pack is under 21, they're building for Varsity Cup for next year, and what better way to come up into a Super League A where you're playing guys that are 33 years of age and got 10 years on your senior in club rugby. So I only think that it's great for them, and rugby is not always just all about winning. It's about taking the losses and learning, but making sure that you improve and get better from there. So the Super League can definitely be grounds for them to be very competitive for next year's Varsity Cup.
Jerome?
Yeah, it's, as Jono was saying, that's what Bola, Chester and Lionel was saying, that last year they played with older guys in the league, but the approach is for those youngsters, they must play next year in the cup, and they're going to use them and build them, and it's a good learning experience for them. And I'm sure they will get a few wins in the league. They're not that bad, so they will learn.
Yeah. All right, let's catch up now with Brendan Nell. He's the Vix captain, as well as Louis Blom, Vix coach.
Ja, nee, baie goed. Kyk, die eerste helfte was taaf. Ons het geweet die WC gaan kom vir ons en ons het gesukkel om ons voet te vind daar in die eerste helfte, maar tweede helfte was baie goed. Ja, kyk, ons het nog ook nou 'n jong span, nou eers na die Varsity Cup, ons het nou 2 weke, 3 weke saam geoefen. En ek's bly om te sien ons die basics is wat ons moet doen en ek's bly ons kon dit nou vandag uitfigure. Laaste naweek teen UCT was dit taaf. Hulle het all guns blazing gekom en ons het geweer gaan so wees en toe ek ons voete gevind aan die einde soos jy gesê het en ek's bly ons kon dit vandag weer doen en 'n bietjie vooroor. Ja, kyk nee, definitief baie nie so baie van ons in die groep is dit nou in die Varsity Cup geoefen nie. Ja, so 'n paar individue wat dit goed gemaak het, ons bietjie fiksheid en so aan wat deurgekom het. Maar ja, ek dink dit gaan ja, soos nou sê, is ons nou af. Nee, eintlik af. Kyk, Yusa is nou omdraai. So ons val maandag weer in voluit. Die groep gaan seker nou maandag aangekondig word wie nou daar moet oefen. So ja, dis nou reguit in die so jy het hier regtig gebreekie. Die swatting soos vital.
Ja, is 'n tough game. UWC die eerste helfte goed gespeel. Hulle het ons opdraande gegee, maar soos ek laasweek gesê het, ons het 'n baie goeie jong span en as hulle vlam vat, is daar moeilikheid. So en ek is dankbaar hulle het vanmiddag vlam gevat. Ja, en maar soos ons laasweek ook, UWC as hulle bal het, is baie goed met die bal. Tweede helfte toe ek die span bietjie gesê ons moet hulle bietjie onneem en bietjie staaf of the ball. En toe het ons baie meer beter balbesit gehou so en toe dit baie goeie agterspelers wat ons het en dit afgerond. Ja, UCT het dramaties gewen die week so. Ek teen UCT het ek die gevoel gehad as ons bietjie langer gespeel het kon ek dalk nog nader gekom het. Daar het ons het in die eerste 20 minute swak gevaar met ons voorspelers. Anders was ons in die game. So ek sien uit die tweede helfte van die seisoen nou wat voorlê. En soos jy self weet, dis 'n jong mannetjies, daar's 'n paar onder 20s en onder 21s, die meer as die helfte van die span. So dis die broeiarea hierdie, hulle moet leer hier en hulle moet groot word hier. So dis 'n ongelooflike ervaring wat hulle het. Maar ons sal seker eers dan weer wat einde Julie bymekaar kom. So ons het nou amper 2 maande wat ek gaan rus. Dan ek moet gras sny Saterdag.
Louis Blom, hy moet Saterdag gras sny. Nee, maar as jy kan gras sny dan jy seker lucky geraak met jou tuin daar, Louis. Maar Jerome, I mean what a pleasure. Louis Blom, he's been around for so long. Most rustige guy, and absolutely, straight down the line. He just enjoys his coaching.
Yeah, I think Louis definitely has a borehole at home if he can cut grass on Saturdays now, because I can't surely cut grass because there's nothing to cut. He's a real gentleman, and I think he's the right guy for Vix, because as you say, he just coached to bring the guys through to Marties, and he's cool and calm. He doesn't put the youngsters under a lot of pressure. That's how Louis is. I mean, I've played a lot of games with Louis.
Yeah.
And
was he the same, like
rustig? He was always the same. Yeah? But he was a giant on the field. Yeah. He was a hard player, but he has no issues. He was calm, but he played hard. But he is, after the games, he's like the same. He's calm and rustig. Yeah. So it's also good to see. JP, we were talking. There's a lot of older ex-rugby players. They talk a lot behind the scenes.
Yeah.
But why don't they go and put back? They can need all that experience. Clubs can need all that experience, but they keep on talking. But Louis is a typical example of an ex-player who's putting in and he's been around and he's doing well. So that's what clubs need.
Yeah, Johnny, you've also had a bit of experience with Louis.
Yeah, Louis actually coached me a season at Villages when I was still playing. So when I was in my earlier 20s, he coached at Villages, and again was pretty much the same, and just nice that he's back at Marty's, and again just obviously enjoying spending time with the guys.
Yeah. Right, folks, Louis Blom and the boys over at Vix, what a great gentleman. We will keep covering the games. Of course, the universities now go on a bit of a break. As you know, Hisense is on board with Cape Rugby TV as the official technical partner. Now, they're busy running a bit of a competition at the moment. Hisense, of course, they're a sponsor to the Lions. And the Lions are coming down to play the Stormers, the DHL Stormers at Newlands this week. All you need to do if you want to get in the mix there, the Lions face off with the Stormers this weekend, and they're here for the test to win 4 sets of 4 tickets and a replica jersey. Simply tell the guys on the Hisense Facebook page which team is currently top of the log. Of course, terms and conditions apply. There you see it on Facebook right now. Just tell the Hisense guys on their Hisense Facebook page who is currently top of the log in Super Rugby. We'll take an ad break. When we come back from the break, we'll take a look at what's happening with the friendlies. A lot of friendlies happening at the moment in Western Province. Back in a sec. Well, welcome back, everybody. It's Cape Rugby TV. As you know, there's a lot of friendlies happening at the moment. Let's quickly take a look at some of the results over the weekend. In Super League A, it was, of course, a win for Marty's over a UCT. At least a UCT over Marty's, 27 points to 5, and then Vix 64-23. A lot of friendlies happening at the moment. I think everybody's trying to find a friendly. Jerome, the guys at the moment, obviously looking, there's 1 week left before the, I know some of the games are a little bit delayed, but there are a lot of friendlies that now start on the 2nd of June. So this is the last weekend, really, before getting an opportunity, before the league starts. And so Saturday's friendlies that are coming up and last week's friendlies would have been an important testing ground for the guys.
Yeah, look, it's strange to see. I wouldn't think that guys would still play before the league starts, play another friendly, because the guys were playing a lot of rugby. But in saying that, it's still the last time for them maybe to give guys opportunity to play in the first team or to see how their squad's going to look.
Yeah.
So, but it normally doesn't happen that before your season starts that you play a game. But it's rugby.
No friendlies at Falsberg this past weekend.
Yeah, look, I think I mentioned it last time that I was on the show. I just said it's more quantity over quality, and we played against Durban, which is a bruising encounter, of which like 7-8 players are obviously out after that game, and likewise on Durban's side. And I do see players that played last week, they play this week, and they play the following week, which is 1 week before the league. It's great for them, and they'll probably be way more match ready than us. The problem is this year's league, there is no third team, so depth is quite tough in clubs, and if you're going to pick up injuries in the next 2 weeks before a league, that's not going to help your situation out in the next 8 games once you get halfway through your league season. So if there was a third team and other teams playing, I'd say great, by all means go wild, but because we pulled the third team from our league, it's very difficult to keep 60, 70 guys training when you can only select 50 guys week in and week out.
Well, let's take a look at some of the friendly results then over this past weekend. Macassar were up against Kuilsriver, win there for Kuilsriver, 25 points to 20. All Saints went down to Langa, 27-5. St. George's went down to Hamilton's, 57-20. Franschhoek, 48-5 win over Loberpaal, and then Tygerberg went down to Durban, 29-12. Van der Stel, 48-26 over Frisantekraal. Helderberg went down to NTK at 44-27. Union Mill, 68-5 over Hands and Hearts. Kylemore, 32-24 over Peniel Villages. And then Elsie's with a 28-18 win over Stelkor, and Belhar, 50 points to 29 over Whistling Wheels. John, let me go back to you. A lot of those teams are playing across the leagues there. I mean, if you look at Belhar and Whistling Wheels, different leagues, 50 points to 29 win for Belhar over Whistling Wheels. If we look at something like Union Mill playing Hands and Hearts, also different leagues, 68 points to 5. So the big points difference there, but they're obviously in different leagues and different competition. I mean, there are a few examples of that. What do you make of that for the teams in Super League A, and then these other teams? What will they be drawing from that?
Again, I think it's good for both teams. I think it's good for teams in lower leagues as well as the higher leagues to play against each other. One, if you're maybe a coach and you have an inexperienced team and you've got a lot of new players, which are a lot of new players floating around Western Cape at this point in time, then it's maybe good to play against the likes, to play against the top 5 or 6 or maybe 8 or 10 clubs in a Super League and let them hammer and tongs each other before they must go do it in the league is maybe not a great idea, especially if you want a lot of new guys and maybe results don't go your way. Nowadays, it's quite tough at the top. Almost everybody wants to win every single game when you play. So if you kind of results driven, then maybe go play a so-called lesser team in another league. But at the same time, I think some of the lesser teams, the gap is definitely getting closer, and it's only a matter of time.
That's what I was thinking, is that the guys, there's not such a big difference anymore.
No, there's certainly not, which is also great for Western Province Rugby, because it just shows you that obviously the bigger or smaller gap that we can create between club rugby and general professional, and then again from SLB upwards, again, is just going to be it's going to bode well for club rugby in general.
It's a total elevation over the last 10 years, Jerome, of all the different things that we've done, from improved games to more TV to sponsorship. It's all lifting the whole of Western Province.
Yeah, I mean, the rugby, the last few years, we are the best in the country, and it's just proof on what we were doing. Jonah, just a question to you is, in the league now, you can have 25 guys on your bench.
Yes.
Because of there's no 13. The second team and the first team can have 25 guys, but I think you can still only play 23.
Correct. So because there's only 2 teams, you can select 25 in each, so 50 players can be selected. Only 23 players can play on that day. So generally we would have 7 subs, now we can have 8. So the nice thing is you can at least incorporate, maybe 60 to 70 guys, but keep 50 guys selected, and maybe then try and rotate them as the season goes on if you have injuries and so on.
But you don't have to, you on your team list you have 25 guys, so all of them can play. I mean, so you can decide on the day
which one
I'm going to use my prop, or I'm not going to use my prop, or that I'm going to use that.
Exactly.
And if the table are not sharp, you can use all 25.
Look, there's definitely some clubs in our league which use 25 on a regular basis, even with these old laws or new laws. But hopefully the bench has to be very, very sharp this year.
I think both of you are going to have to take another look at the rules. I'm not convinced that you've got that one right. I was on the impression that you list 23 players and you must play 22.
No.
Incorrect.
Am I wrong?
You're wrong.
Incorrect.
Well, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, and I'll just say I'm wrong. All right, but what I will not be wrong about is the opportunity for yourself to win a case of Score energy drinks. All right, all you need to do if you want to win yourself a case of Score energy drinks, then SMS the word SCORE to 33090. 33090. Put yourself in the mix to win a case of Score energy drinks. The other thing that I'm also never wrong about is the posters that come in from our clubs. The more posters we get in from the various clubs, the more publicity we are able to give the clubs. And remember that you're able to put your sponsors' logos on these posters, and we can give it publicity and talk about that. Right, let's take a look at some of the posters that have come in. Hamilton's, of course, Derby Day for them up against Villages this coming weekend. That's playing at Brookside. So Hammies and Villages, 2 of the oldest clubs in South Africa, playing there. The first team is kicking off at 4 o'clock. And then Whistling Wheels and the Caleb Boys, so it's Kales River up against Whistling Wheels. Kales River playing away this weekend. They're playing at Eersterivier, at Eersterivier South Stratford. That kickoff is there for 1:30, 22:03, and then of course at 4 o'clock. And then Helderberg are up against Kraaifontein. Helderberg there, you can see their little sponsor there. Kelford's Somerset West. Good for the guys to put sponsors on there. Helderberg playing against Kraaifontein. First team kicks off there at 4 o'clock at the Charles Morkel Stadium. Looking at some of the other fixtures now, this is not posters that came in, but certainly results that we've managed to ask folks to contribute, at least fixtures. Fixtures and results. We generally ask friendlies posted on Facebook, the friendlies and fixtures. So friendlies coming up this week that we know about so far. Helderberg up against Kraaifontein, as we mentioned. Strand take on Noordlikers. Eersterivier, or the Reivers, up against Elsies. Stelco up against Scottsdene. Whistling Wheels against Kales River. And then, as we mentioned, Hamilton's against Villages, 2 of the oldest teams in the country. Hamilton's Villages, John, let's talk to you about that. There's been a massive gap between Hamiltons and Villagers over the last few years, especially with Villagers being relegated. A lot of problems for the guys, but they've managed to pull it all together. They're back in Super League A now. Are we going to see a top-of-the-table clash-style game, or is there still a bit of a gap here? But it's Derby Day. It's at Brookside. Villagers will be looking to test themselves here now after a couple of years.
Yeah, look, again, I've played in many of those derbies as well, and they've been great. When I was at Villagers, we actually used to win more of those derbies before. And I just remind everyone that Hammies used to be in the SLB, and then they came up. But definitely over the last
when was that?
Definitely over the last 10 to 15 years, Hammies have definitely had the upper hand. I think Clint and his guys will definitely be up for it this year. I know they've put a lot of work in behind the scenes. Having played against both of the, actually haven't played against Hammies this year, but having played and watched and analysed quite a lot of them, I'll give it, I think Hammies might just take it, but it is at Brookside. I don't think it's going to be too close, to be honest. But
are you expecting, Jerome? Are we expecting like with UCT? Are we expecting a fresh, different type of Villagers this year?
No, definitely. I watched the game against Falls Bay. It was early, but they're busy with Clinton. Is busy with something. So Villagers are improving. I think it's going to be tough, but they are busy with good things at Villagers.
All right, so it is going to be a lot of we're looking forward to it. It's coming now on the 2nd of June, and we're up and running. If you haven't joined the Newlands, I keep calling it the Newlands Faithful, but I keep thinking of it as the Newlands Faithful. But in fact, it's called the Faithful. If you haven't joined the Faithful yet, then now's your opportunity. It's an exclusive membership opportunity for you to go and join the Newlands Faithful, which is basically sort of the Western Province and Stormers Rugby Supporters Club. For R1,000, which is valued, the membership value just to start off with is in excess of R3,000. So for R1,000, you get yourself quite a number of value-added benefits, such as a brand new exclusive cap. You get a R500 Adidas voucher. You, of course, get your membership card. You get official certificate of membership. Bonus gifts from the sponsors such as Land Rover and Bright Rock, and now you get a free trial gym membership at Virgin Active. So there's some really great stuff there, including that Faithful SIM card starter pack. All right, so just getting started there from a membership perspective, you immediately get your jersey, which is valued, I think, at over R750. You get that Adidas voucher, which is valued at R500. You get a Vodacom starter pack. So a whole lot of goodies there, a whole lot of goodies. And then once you are a member of the Faithful, and you have your card, and the president of Western Province Rugby and the CEO, they personally sign the certificate, and then DHL courier that to you. So you actually at your door get a certificate that you are one of the Faithful. In fact, only the Faithful get to wear their exclusive cap, so you won't see that anywhere. But the fantastic thing about this is, once you're a member of this of the Faithful, you can go to some of the suppliers and partners that support the Supporters Club or the Faithful. So, for example, you can go to the website Daddy's Deals, and there are special discounts on top of discounts for you. You can go to a number of different websites that are, of course, supporters to the Faithful. So just go to the Western Province Rugby website, www.wprugby.com, and go and sign up there for the Faithful. Right, as I mentioned earlier on, if you want to win yourself a set of double tickets to go and watch the Lions up against the DHL Stormers this weekend, well, 33090. 33090 is the number that you need to text, and just text the keyword DHL Stormers to 33090. 33090, and you put yourself in the mix to go and watch a set of to go and watch the Lions up against the Stormers at Newlands. Both teams will be looking to get some points on the log there, and I'm sure it's going to be a monster game. Remember, go and visit the Hisense Facebook page if you want to put yourself in a mix there to win some replica items courtesy of Hisense. Then you just need to go to their Facebook page and tell them who is the who's on top of the log at the moment of the Super Rugby table. Jerome, it's going to be a massive game, Lions and Stormers.
Yeah, it's always a tough one, and I think the Stormers need some pride back after last week, so it will be a great spectacle.
Yeah, Jono, any thoughts on that one?
Well, I'll have to back the Stormers then.
Yeah, of course we back the Stormers. We're always backing the Stormers, but it's going to be a monster game. I'm sure that the Lions they haven't had the greatest run travelling away now. and they're going to be looking to get some points on the board, as will the Stormers, after taking a little bit of a knock against the Sunwolves. And well, they're certainly going to want to make sure that they have a happy fan base back here. Right, folks, that's a wrap from us. Jerome, Donkey, what are your plans for the weekend?
Hemis Vix.
Hemis Vix?
Hemis Villages, sorry.
Hemis Villages, Derby Day, yeah.
Derby Day.
Jono?
I'll be at the Derby as well, and at some schoolboy rugby early on in the day.
Schoolboy?
Weinberg take on Bishops.
Weinberg take on Bishops.
We'll play them at 11:30 on the Piley Reese, and then it's off to Villages for the Derby.
Yeah, and the schoolboy rugby is certainly getting a lot of attention at the moment. It's some really, really good rugby, and there's been a little bit of a shift there. I see some of the schools are not dominating anymore. Looks like Paul Roos is now one of the schools to dominate there, but we've got some really, really excellent local schools that are also doing fantastic and maybe just don't always get the kind of attention that we're talking about. That's a wrap from us. We will see you again. Remember, keep busy on Facebook. Keep telling us your logs, your results, your fixtures, your friendlies. That's where we find you. And share those posters with your sponsor's name on it so we can publicize your sponsors. We'll be back next week, same time, same place. And fantastic rugby weekend. Bye-bye.